Marcus Chen opened his eyes slowly. His head felt heavy and his mouth was dry. The cargo ship's cabin was dark, except for a soft blue glow coming from somewhere near his feet. He blinked several times trying to focus his vision. Then he saw her. A girl sat cross-legged at the foot of his bed. Her skin was pale blue like the morning sky. Her eyes were large and silver-colored. They reflected light like a cat's eyes. She wore a simple white dress that seemed to glow softly. Her hair was long and white, flowing down her back like water. Marcus pulled his blanket up to his chest quickly. His heart pounded in his chest. He was naked under the blanket. The ship's cooling system had broken yesterday, and the cabin had been too hot to wear anything while sleeping. "Who are you?" Marcus asked. His voice came out rough and confused. "How did you get on my ship?" The girl smiled. Her teeth were perfectly white and slightly pointed. She tilted her head to one side like a curious bird. "You claimed me," she said. Her voice was soft and musical. She spoke English, but with a strange accent. Some words sounded like she was singing them. "I am Lyria of the Valkyrie people. I am now your bonded mate." Marcus stared at her. His brain tried to process what she had just said. Bonded mate? He had never seen this girl before in his life. He had gone to sleep alone on his cargo ship as always. Now there was a blue alien girl sitting on his bed, claiming they were bonded. "I think you have the wrong person," Marcus said carefully. He looked around the cabin for his clothes. They were on the floor near the door. "Too far away?" "I don't know you. We've never met before." Lyria shook her head. Her silver eyes grew wider. She looked surprised that he would say such a thing. "But you performed the sacred ritual," she said. She pointed at him with one delicate finger. "You displayed your bare form while in vulnerable sleep. That is the traditional Valkyrie mating offer. I accepted. The bond is complete." Marcus felt his face grow hot. He had been sleeping naked because of the heat. That was all. It was not some kind of alien mating ritual. It was just a man trying to stay cool on a broken ship. "That was not a ritual," Marcus said firmly. "It was just hot in here. My cooling system broke. I was trying to sleep comfortably." Lyria stood up from the bed. She was tall and thin. She moved with strange grace, like she was floating instead of walking. She came closer to Marcus's side of the bed. She held out her right hand, palm up. In the center of her palm was a glowing mark. It looked like a spiral made of light. The spiral pulsed gently with a blue-white glow. "The mark of bonding," Lyria said proudly. "It appeared when I accepted your offer. You have one too." Marcus looked down at his own right hand. His heart sank into his stomach. There on his palm was the exact same glowing spiral mark. It pulsed in rhythm with Lyria's mark. He had not noticed it before in the darkness. "What did you do to me?" Marcus demanded. He felt anger rising in his chest. "You put some kind of mark on me while I was sleeping?" "I did nothing," Lyria said. She sounded hurt by his accusation. "The marks appear naturally when a bonding is accepted by both souls. Your soul accepted me, even if your mind did not understand." Marcus rubbed his face with both hands. This could not be happening. He was a simple cargo hauler. He transported goods from one station to another. He lived alone and liked it that way. He did not want an alien wife, especially not one who thought sleeping naked was a marriage proposal. "Look," Marcus said, trying to sound calm. "This is all a big misunderstanding. On Earth, where I come from, sleeping without clothes does not mean anything special. It is just sleeping. There is no ritual, no bonding, no marriage." Lyria's face fell. She looked sad and confused. She sat down on the edge of the bed again. Her shoulders drooped. "But the traditions are clear," she said quietly. "A warrior who displays vulnerability offers trust. Trust is the foundation of bonding. How can your people bond without trust?" "We do bond," Marcus explained. "But we use words. We talk to each other. We get to know each other first. We choose each other with our minds, not with some automatic soul connection." Lyria was quiet for a long moment. She stared down at the glowing mark on her palm. Then she looked up at Marcus with those big silver eyes. "Your people sound very complicated," she said. "But it does not matter now. The bond exists. It is recognized by Velkari law. It is also recognized by the Galactic Council's cultural protection treaties. We are bonded, whether you understood the ritual or not. Or Marcus felt trapped. He threw back the blanket and grabbed his pants from the floor. He pulled them on quickly. Lyria watched him with interest, but did not look away. He grabbed a shirt and put it on too. There has to be a way to undo this, Marcus said. He started pacing back and forth in the small cabin. Some kind of divorce or annulment or something. Bonding can only be broken if both parties agree, Lyria said. She sounded very certain. I will never agree. Humans are the most interesting species in the galaxy. You are resourceful and creative and brave. Every Valkyrie girl dreams of bonding with a human. I will not give up this chance. Marcus stopped pacing. He looked at Lyria carefully. She seemed very young, maybe 20 in human years. She looked excited and happy despite his obvious confusion and anger. How old are you? Marcus asked. Lyria. Cycles, Lyria said. That is adult age for my people. I am a xenanthropology student. I was studying human migration patterns when I detected your ship's heat signature. Then I saw you through the observation scanner performing the ritual. I came aboard immediately to accept. You were spying on me, Marcus said flatly. I was doing research, Lyria corrected. She smiled slightly. But yes, I was watching your ship. Human behavior is my specialty. Marcus sat down heavily in his pilot chair. He looked at the glowing mark on his palm again. It did not hurt. It did not feel like anything really. But it was there. Proof that something had happened while he slept. Something he did not understand. This is insane, Marcus muttered. This is fate, Lyria said happily. And I am very pleased with fate's choice. Marcus put his head in his hands. It was going to be a very long day. He slept naked and woke up claimed by an alien girl. Part 2. Cultural collision. Marcus tried calling the nearest space station for help. He sat in the pilot's chair while Lyria explored his small cargo ship. She touched everything with curious fingers. She made small, happy sounds when she found something interesting. Station control, this is cargo ship Northern Star, Marcus said into the communication console. I need to speak with someone about Valkyrie cultural law. It's urgent. The reply came back after a few seconds. A bored female voice answered. Northern Star, this is Station 12. What is the nature of your legal inquiry? Marcus glanced over his shoulder. Lyria was examining his food storage. She pulled out a package of dried noodles and sniffed it carefully. She made a face that suggested she did not think it smelled good. I appear to have accidentally entered into a Valkyrie bonding contract, Marcus said quietly. I need to know how to dissolve it. There was a long pause. Then the station controller's voice came back. She sounded more interested now. Did you say a Valkyrie bonding? Those are legally recognized under the Cultural Protection Act of 2847. You need both parties to consent to dissolution. Is the other party willing? Marcus looked at Lyria again. She had moved on from his food storage. Now, she was pulling strange plants from a bag she had brought with her. The plants glowed with soft colors. She started arranging them around his cabin. No, Marcus said with a sigh. The other party is very unwilling. Then you're bound by contract, the controller said. She almost sounded amused. Congratulations on your bonding. Station 12 out. The communication ended. Marcus stared at the blank screen. He felt a knot forming in his stomach. This was really happening. He was legally married to an alien girl he had just met, all because his cooling system had broken. What are you doing? Marcus asked. He watched Lyria place glowing plants on every surface in his cabin. I am preparing our nest, Lyria said happily. She hung a plant with blue flowers from the ceiling. Your sleeping area is very primitive. These plants will help regulate temperature and air quality. They will also provide pleasant light during rest periods. This is not our nest, Marcus said. He stood up and walked over to her. This is my ship, my cabin, my life. Lyria turned to face him. Her silver eyes looked hurt. She held a plant with purple leaves in her hands. It is our life now, she said softly. Bonded mates share everything. That is the way of my people. Marcus felt guilty for snapping at her. She looked so sad. But he also felt angry and trapped. He had not chosen this. He did not want his life to change so suddenly. "Your people's ways are not my people's ways," Marcus said. He tried to speak gently. "Humans need time. We need to know each other before we share lives." Lyria set down the purple plant. She came closer to Marcus. She was almost as tall as him. Her blue skin seemed to glow in the light from the plants she had placed around the cabin. "Then we will take time," Lyria said. "We will learn about each other. But the bond remains. I will not leave this ship. I will not leave you." Marcus wanted to argue more, but he was interrupted. The ship's communication console beeped loudly. An incoming call. Marcus went to answer it. The screen showed a Valkyrie face. The alien looked older than Lyria. His skin was darker blue. His eyes were the same silver color. He looked very serious. "I am Theron of the Valkyrie Diplomatic Corps," the man said. "I have detected an unauthorized bonding involving a human vessel. Please identify yourself." "Marcus Chen," Marcus said. "And yes, there's been a bonding, but it was a mistake. A misunderstanding." "There are no mistakes in bonding," Theron said firmly. "Either the ritual was performed correctly, or it was not. Is my daughter Lyria present on your vessel?" Marcus felt his stomach drop even further. Daughter. This alien was Lyria's father. Marcus turned to look at her. Lyria had frozen in place. She looked like a child caught doing something wrong. "She's here," Marcus said. "I am coming to your location," Theron said. "My family will meet this human who has claimed our daughter. Remain where you are. We will arrive in 6 hours." The communication ended before Marcus could respond. He looked at Lyria with wide eyes. "Your father is coming here?" Marcus asked. "Your family?" Lyria nodded slowly. She looked worried now instead of happy. "Valkyrie families must approve all bondings," she explained. "They will want to meet you. They will want to test you. They will want to make sure you are worthy." "Test me," Marcus repeated. "Worthy. What does that mean?" Lyria sat down on his bed. She played with the glowing mark on her palm. "Among my people, the male must prove he can provide and protect," she said quietly. "He must show strength and resources. He must demonstrate that he can keep a mate safe and comfortable." Marcus laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was the laugh of a man who had completely lost control of his life. "I'm a cargo hauler," Marcus said. "I live alone on a small ship. I eat dried noodles and protein bars. I barely make enough money to keep this ship running. I'm not strong. I'm not rich. I'm just a regular guy trying to survive." Lyria looked up at him. Her silver eyes were wide and shining. She smiled slightly. "You are human," she said. "That alone makes you extraordinary to my people. Humans survive in conditions that would kill most species. You adapt. You overcome. You never give up. Those qualities are worth more than strength or wealth." Marcus did not know what to say to that. He had never thought of himself as extraordinary. He was just doing what he had to do to get by. Nothing special. "Will your family see it that way?" Marcus asked. Lauer hesitated. She looked down at her hands again. "I do not know," she admitted. "My family is traditional. They may not understand human ways, but they will try. They will want me to be happy." The next 6 hours passed slowly. Lyria continued to decorate the cabin with her glowing plants. She tried to talk to Marcus about her home world. She told him about Valkar, where the cities were built in massive trees that reached into the clouds. She described her studies at the university. She explained that she had 7 fathers and 3 mothers because Valkyrie families were complex group bonds. Marcus listened, but his mind was elsewhere. He kept thinking about the test. What would Lyria's family expect from him? How could he prove he was worthy when he had nothing to offer? When the 6 hours were up, a large ship appeared on his sensors. It was sleek and beautiful. It made his cargo ship look like junk. The ship docked with his small vessel. There was a hiss of air as the airlocks connected. Then they came aboard. Lyria's family was large and overwhelming. 7 fathers and 3 mothers crowded into Marcus's small cabin. They all had blue skin and silver eyes. They all stared at Marcus with intense curiosity. Some looked friendly. Others looked suspicious. Theron, the father Marcus had spoken to earlier, stepped forward. He was tall and muscular. He looked Marcus up and down carefully. "So you are the human who claimed my daughter," Theron said. His voice was deep and serious. "You do not look like much." Marcus swallowed hard. This was going to be a very difficult meeting. "I know I'm not impressive," Marcus said honestly. "But I didn't mean to claim anyone. It was an accident." One of the mothers stepped forward. She was shorter than Theron, but her presence was just as strong. Her silver eyes examined Marcus closely. "Bondings are never accidents," she said. "The soul knows what it wants, even when the mind does not. I am Syria. I am Lyria's birth mother. Tell me, human, why should we allow this bond to continue?" Marcus looked at Lyria. She stood behind her family, looking small and worried. She gave him an encouraging nod. Marcus took a deep breath. He had to be honest. That was all he could be. "I can't give you a good reason," Marcus said. "I don't have wealth or status. I'm not a warrior. I'm just a cargo hauler trying to make a living. But I can promise you this. If Lyria stays with me, I will treat her with respect. I will listen to her. I will value her thoughts and feelings. Where I come from, that's what partnership means. Not ownership, not dominance. Partnership." The family members looked at each other. They seemed confused by his words. They spoke to each other in their own language. Musical sounds filled the cabin. Then Theron spoke again. "You speak of things we do not understand," he said, "but we will give you a chance to prove yourself. You have 3 days to demonstrate your worth. If you fail, Lyria will return with us, and the bond will be challenged in Valkyrie courts." Marcus nodded. He had no choice but to accept. "What do I have to do?" Marcus asked. Syria smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "You must show us what makes humans special," she said. "Show us why our daughter chose you." The test had begun. Hash. He slept naked and woke up claimed by an alien girl, Hash. Part 3. The complications. Marcus spent the first day trying to figure out what Lyria's family wanted from him. They had taken over his cargo hold. They had set up elaborate living quarters there with furniture that seemed to grow from seeds. Everything they owned was organic and beautiful. Everything Marcus owned looked cheap and broken by comparison. Theron approached Marcus in the morning. The tall Valkyrie father looked serious as always. "Today you will demonstrate your ability to provide," Theron said. "Show us how you gather resources. Show us how you would care for a mate." Marcus led them to the ship's cockpit. He showed them his cargo manifests. He explained how he took contracts to move goods between stations. He showed them his profit margins. They were not impressive. One of the younger fathers, named Kelvin, laughed when he saw the numbers. "You barely earn enough to feed yourself," Kelvin said. "How would you feed a mate and future offspring?" Marcus felt his face grow hot with embarrassment. It was true. He lived on a tight budget, but he survived. That had to count for something. "Humans don't need much to survive," Marcus said. "We're adaptable. We make do with what we have." Syria, the birth mother, shook her head. She looked disappointed. "Making do is not the same as thriving," she said. "Lyria deserves better than barely surviving." Marcus looked at Lyria. She sat quietly in the corner. She had been silent since her family arrived. She looked sad. Marcus felt guilty, even though he had done nothing wrong. That evening, things got worse. Another ship appeared on the sensors. It was a Valkyrie vessel similar to the one Lyria's family had arrived in. Marcus felt a sense of dread in his stomach. The new ship docked. A young Valkyrie male came aboard. He was tall and muscular with dark blue skin and bright silver eyes. He wore elegant clothes covered in strange symbols. He looked like royalty. "I am Thex of the warrior caste," the newcomer announced. His voice was loud and confident. "I have come to challenge this false bonding." Lyria stood up quickly. Her eyes went wide. She looked shocked and afraid. Lyria said, "What are you doing here?" Thex smiled at her. It was the smile of someone who was very sure of himself. "I am here to claim what should have been mine," Thex said. He turned to look at Marcus. His smile faded. This human tricked you into bonding. He took advantage of your innocence and your fascination with his species. That's not true, Marcus said. He stood up to face Thex, even though the alien was much larger than him. I didn't trick anyone. I didn't even know what was happening. Exactly, Thex said. He pointed at Marcus with one long finger. You did not understand the ritual. Therefore, the bonding is invalid. Valkyrie law is clear. Both parties must understand and consent to the bonding. This human consented to nothing. Marcus felt a strange mix of relief and anger. Thex was right about one thing. Marcus had not understood what was happening. He had not consented. But the way Thex spoke made it sound like Marcus was stupid and Lyria was a victim. That was not true either. I didn't understand at first, Marcus admitted. But I understand now. The bond exists whether I meant it or not. Theron stepped forward. He looked between Marcus and Thex with a thoughtful expression. Dex raises a valid point, Theron said slowly. If the human did not understand the ritual, then technically the bonding may be challenged. This is unusual, Lyria said suddenly. She stepped between Marcus and Thex. Her voice was stronger than Marcus had ever heard it. The ritual was completed. The marks appeared. The bond is valid. Marcus's understanding does not matter. His soul accepted me, Lex laughed. It was not a kind sound, his soul. Vex repeated, humans barely have souls. They are animals. Clever animals, but animals nonetheless. They do not bond like we do. They cannot. Marcus felt anger surge through him. He clenched his fists. He wanted to hit Thex, but he knew that would prove nothing. Violence would just make him look like the animal Thex claimed he was. Humans bond just fine, Marcus said through gritted teeth. We love, we commit. We build lives together. We just do it differently than you do. Different is not equal, Thex said. He turned to Lyria's family. I ask you to recognize the truth. This bonding is flawed. Let me take Lyria as my bonded mate. I am of the warrior caste. I have wealth and status. I can provide for her properly. I can give her the life she deserves. Lyria's family looked uncertain. They whispered to each other in their musical language. Marcus could not understand the words, but he could see doubt on their faces. They were considering Thix's offer. Lyria grabbed Marcus's hand. Her skin felt cool and smooth. The glowing marks on their palms pulsed together. Light flowed between them. I will not bond with Dex, Lyria said loudly. I choose Marcus. I choose the human. You choose poorly, Dex said. His voice became hard and cold. But I will not give up Isley. I challenge this human to prove his worth. 3 trials. If he succeeds, the bonding stands. If he fails, you will return with me and bond properly with someone of your own kind. Theron nodded slowly. He looked at Marcus with measuring eyes. The challenge is traditional and allowed, Theron said. Marcus Chen, do you accept? Marcus looked at Lyria. Her silver eyes pleaded with him. She squeezed his hand tighter. The glowing marks on their palms pulsed faster. Marcus did not understand the bond. He did not understand how it worked or why it existed. But he understood one thing clearly. Lyria had chosen him. She wanted to stay with him. And nobody should be forced into a relationship they did not want. Not even an alien girl who had invaded his ship and claimed him while he slept. I accept the challenge, Marcus said. Dex smiled like a predator who had cornered his prey. Excellent, Dex said. The first trial will be combat. We will fight hand to hand. The winner will demonstrate physical superiority. Marcus's heart sank. He was not a fighter. He had been in a few bar brawls over the years, but nothing serious. Dex looked like he had trained his whole life for battle. This was going to end badly. That's not fair, Lyria protested. Humans are not built for physical combat like Valkyrie. You are stronger and faster. The trial should test other qualities. Fairness is irrelevant, Dex said. The trials test what matters. Strength, intelligence, willpower. If your human cannot pass these basic tests, then he is not worthy of you. Syria spoke up from where she stood with the other family members. Girl is right, Sirius said. The trials should be adjusted for species differences. Otherwise, they prove nothing. Vex looked annoyed, but he nodded. Fine, Vex said. Then we will modify the combat trial. It will not be about pure strength. It will be about strategy and survival. I will hunt the human through the cargo hold. If he survives for 1 hour without being caught, then he passes. If I catch him, he fails. That did not sound much better to Marcus, but at least it gave him a chance. Humans were good at surviving. That was what Lyria had said. Maybe he could use that. When does the trial begin? Marcus asked. Now, Vex said. The Valkyrie warrior moved fast. He grabbed Marcus by the shirt and dragged him toward the cargo hold. Marcus stumbled, trying to keep his feet. Lyria shouted in protest. Her family held her back. Vex threw Marcus into the cargo hold. Marcus landed hard on the metal floor. Pain shot through his shoulder. He rolled and got to his feet quickly. You have 1 hour, human, Vex said. He stood in the doorway looking down at Marcus. I will give you a 5-minute head start. Then I will hunt you. Try to make it interesting. The door closed. Locks engaged. Marcus was alone in the dark cargo hold. He could hear his own breathing. His heart pounded in his chest. He had 5 minutes to figure out how to survive. Marcus looked around the cargo hold. It was filled with crates and containers. Some were his cargo. Others belonged to Lyria's family. The space was large, but not large enough. There was nowhere to really hide, but humans were good at adapting. At using what they had, Marcus started moving. He opened crates. He looked for anything useful, tools, supplies, anything that could give him an advantage. He found rope in one crate, emergency flares in another, a tarp in a third. Ideas started forming in his mind. Humans might not be as strong as Valkyrie, but humans were clever. Humans used tools. Humans set traps. Marcus got to work. He had 5 minutes. He would use every second. Outside the cargo hold, Lyria pressed her hands against the door. Tears ran down her blue cheeks. She was afraid for Marcus. Afraid that Vex would hurt him. Afraid that she had dragged this human into a situation he could not win. He will be fine, Sirius said. She put a hand on Lyria's shoulder. If he is truly worthy, he will find a way to survive. And if he is not worthy? Lyria asked. Her voice cracked. Then you will bond with Vex, as you should have years ago, Sirius said. It is time you stopped running from tradition. Lyria looked at her birth mother with hurt and anger in her eyes. I am not running from anything, Lyria said. I am running toward something. Toward change. Toward possibility. Toward a future that is different from the past. That is what humans do. That is why I chose Marcus. We will see if your choice was wise, Theron said. He checked the time. The hunt begins now. Inside the cargo hold, Marcus heard the locks disengage. He heard the door slide open. He heard Dex's footsteps enter the dark space. Ready or not human, Dex called out. Here I come. Marcus stayed silent. He crouched behind a stack of crates. In his hands, he held the rope and the flares. His trap was set. Now he just had to wait and hope his human cleverness was enough to beat alien strength. Hash. He slept naked and woke up claimed by an alien girl. Hash hash. Part 4. Understanding and choice, Marcus held his breath. He could hear Vex moving through the cargo hold. The Valkyrie warrior's footsteps were light, despite his size. He moved like a predator stalking prey. Marcus stayed perfectly still behind the crates. I can smell your fear, human, Dex called out. Your heart beats so loud I can hear it from here. You cannot hide from me. Aquas ignored the taunts. He focused on his trap. He had strung rope between several crates at ankle height. He had placed the emergency flares at strategic points. When Nex came close enough, Marcus would activate the flares. The bright light would blind the Valkyrie temporarily. Then maybe Marcus could use the confusion to stay away from him. It was not a great plan, but it was something. Dex came closer. Marcus could see his shadow moving along the wall. The Valkyrie was taking his time. He was confident. Too confident, maybe? You know what I find most amusing about humans? Vex said. He was very close now. You think your cleverness makes you special? But cleverness without strength is just cowardice. You hide in the dark like prey because that is what you are. Marcus's jaw tightened. He wanted to respond. He wanted to defend humanity. But staying silent was smarter. Let Dex talk. Let him get overconfident. Dex stepped into the trap zone. His foot caught the rope. Marcus saw him stumble slightly. Now was the moment. Marcus activated the flares. Bright red light exploded through the cargo hold. Vex shouted in surprise and pain. He covered his eyes with his hands. Marcus ran. He moved low and fast. He circled around Dex and headed for the other side of the cargo hold. He knocked over crates as he went, creating obstacles. Anything to slow the Velkari down, Clever Dex growled. Marcus heard him recovering, but not clever enough. The next 40 minutes became a deadly game. Marcus used everything he could find. He threw small objects to create noise in one direction while he moved in another. He climbed on top of tall crate stacks where Dex could not easily reach. He used the tarp to create a false hiding spot while he hid elsewhere. Dex adapted to each trick. He was smart too, and he was patient. Several times, he almost caught Marcus. Once his fingers brushed Marcus's shirt. Another time, he cornered Marcus between two crates. Marcus barely escaped by squeezing through a gap too small for Dex's larger frame. 50 minutes, Dex announced. 10 minutes left, human. You are running out of space to hide. It was true. The cargo hold was only so big. Marcus was getting tired. His legs ached from running and climbing. His shoulders still hurt from being thrown earlier. Dex looked barely winded. Marcus needed a new strategy. He looked around desperately. Then he saw it. The environmental controls panel? Every cargo hold had one. It controlled temperature and air pressure and gravity. An idea formed. A dangerous idea. But Marcus was running out of options. He ran for the control panel. Dex saw him and gave chase. Marcus reached the panel first. His fingers flew over the buttons. He reduced the gravity to 20%. Suddenly, everything became lighter. Dex stumbled as his weight changed. He was not prepared for the shift. Marcus used the low gravity to jump. He launched himself high into the air. He grabbed onto exposed pipes on the ceiling. He pulled himself up and wedged his body between the pipes and the ceiling. Dex looked up. Even in low gravity, he could not reach that high without something to climb on. And Marcus had made sure to clear away anything near the control panel, Creative Dex admitted. But you cannot stay up there forever. Only need to stay here for 8 more minutes, Marcus said. He was breathing hard, but he smiled. Then I win. Dex's face darkened with anger. He jumped trying to reach Marcus, but fell short. He looked around for something to throw. He found a small crate. He hurled it at Marcus. Marcus pressed himself flat against the ceiling. The crate missed. 7 minutes, Marcus counted. Dex threw more objects. Marcus dodged them all. It was easier in low gravity. He could shift his position quickly. Vex was getting frustrated. His throws became wild and angry. 6 minutes. Vex stopped throwing things. He stood still, looking up at Marcus. His silver eyes calculated.
Ouch.
Then he did something Marcus did not expect. He started moving crates. He was building a tower. He was going to climb up to Marcus. Marcus's heart raced. He looked at the control panel. It was too far away. He could not reach it from here to change the gravity again. He had to do something else. 5 minutes, Marcus said. But his voice was less confident now. Dex's tower grew higher. The Velkari climbed up carefully. He was getting close. Marcus looked around frantically. There was nowhere left to go. Then the door to the cargo hold opened. Light flooded in. Lyria stood in the doorway. Her face was determined. Time is up, Lyria announced loudly. 1 hour has passed. Dex stopped climbing. He looked at the door, then back at Marcus. Confusion crossed his face. It has only been 59 minutes, Dex protested. No, Theron said. He appeared behind Lyria. He held up a timing device. Exactly 1 hour. The human has won the first trial. Marcus let out a breath he did not know he was holding. He carefully climbed down from the ceiling. His legs shook as he reached the floor. Lyria ran to him, grabbed his arms, checking him for injuries. "Are you hurt?" she asked. Her silver eyes were full of worry. "I'm fine," Marcus said. Odd. He was sweating and tired, but mostly intact. Just tired. Dex climbed down from his tower of crates. He looked angry, but he nodded grudgingly. The humans survived, Dex admitted. He used his environment cleverly. He adapted quickly. These are worthy traits. But 2 trials remain. Over the next 2 days, Marcus faced the other trials. The second trial tested intelligence. Dex presented Marcus with a complex puzzle used to train Valkyrie strategists. It involved moving pieces on a holographic board to capture key positions. The game had thousands of possible moves, and most species needed days to learn the basics. Marcus approached it differently. He did not try to learn all the rules. Instead, he watched Dex play a demonstration game. He observed patterns. He noticed that certain positions always led to certain outcomes. He used his human ability to recognize patterns and adapt quickly. He did not win the game, but he did not have to win. He only had to show he could think strategically. After 2 hours of play, Dex called the trial complete. Marcus had earned a draw, which counted as a pass. The third trial tested willpower. Marcus had to remain conscious while exposed to a Valkyrie meditation device that induced peaceful sleep. Most species fell asleep within minutes. The device worked by making the subject feel completely safe and relaxed. Marcus struggled. The device felt wonderful. It was like being wrapped in warm blankets. Every muscle relaxed. His eyelids grew heavy, but he focused on one thing: Lyria. He thought about her silver eyes, her smile, the way she believed in him. He thought about how she had chosen him despite everything. He could not let her down. He stayed awake for the required hour. When the device was turned off, Marcus collapsed from exhaustion. But he had passed. Dex stood over Marcus, looking down at him. The Valkyrie warrior's expression was complex. It held respect, but also frustration. "You have passed all 3 trials," Dex said. "By our laws, the bonding stands. You have proven you are not weak or stupid or lacking in will. You are a worthy mate." Marcus sat up slowly. Lyria helped him to his feet. The whole family had gathered to witness the final trial. They looked at Marcus with new eyes, eyes that held respect. But Dex was not finished talking. However, Dex continued. "I have one more challenge. Not a trial, a question. Why should Lyria stay with you? You passed the trials, but barely. You have no wealth, no status, no great strength. I can offer her so much more. I can give her comfort and security. What can you give her?" It was a fair question. Marcus looked at Lyria. She looked back at him. Her silver eyes were hopeful, but also uncertain. She wanted him to have a good answer, but what could he say? Aquas took Lyria's hand. The glowing marks on their palms pulsed together. He thought about the past 3 days, about how Lyria had watched him during the trials, how she had worried for him, how she had cheered quietly when he succeeded. He thought about their conversations late at night when her family was asleep, how she had told him about her dreams of seeing the galaxy and learning about different cultures, how she felt trapped by Valkyrie traditions that never changed. "I can give her choice," Marcus said finally. "I can give her freedom. I can give her a partner, not a protector. Where I come from, relationships are not about one person providing for another. They are about 2 people choosing each other every day, supporting each other, growing together. I do not know if that is better than what you offer, Dex, but it is different. I think different is what Lyria wants." The cargo hold was silent. Everyone stared at Marcus. Then Lyria squeezed his hand. Tears ran down her blue cheeks, but she was smiling. "Yes," Lyria said. "That is what I want. That is why I chose you, Marcus. That is why I will keep choosing you." Syria stepped forward. The birth mother looked at her daughter for a long moment. Then she looked at Marcus. Her expression softened. "You speak of things we do not practice," Syria said. "But perhaps that is not wrong. Perhaps that is simply different, as you say. Our people are declining. We follow the same traditions we have always followed. Nothing changes. Nothing grows. Maybe we need to learn from humans. Maybe we need to learn how to adapt. Theron nodded in agreement. One by one, the other family members nodded too. Even Dex finally bowed his head in acceptance. The bonding stands, Theron announced officially. Marcus Chen of Earth is recognized as bonded mate to Lyria of the Velkari people. May their union bring growth to both their peoples? Lyria hugged Marcus tightly. He hugged her back. Still did not fully understand the bond. Still was not sure how this would work. But he was willing to try. He was willing to choose her, just as she had chosen him. He slept naked, and woke up claimed by an alien girl. Part 5, The Bond. Redefined 3 weeks had passed since Thex's challenges. Lyria's family had stayed on Marcus's ship to observe the bonding. They wanted to see how a human and Valkyrie couple would function together. Marcus had agreed reluctantly. His small cargo ship was very crowded with so many guests, but something unexpected had happened during those weeks. Marcus and Lyria had started to actually know each other, not as bonded mates forced together by ritual, but as two people learning to share a life. Marcus discovered that Lyria was funny. She made jokes about human customs that she did not understand. She laughed at Marcus's attempts to pronounce Velkari words. She was curious about everything. She asked endless questions about Earth and human history and why humans did things certain ways. Lyria discovered that Marcus was kind. He shared his small space without complaint, even though he clearly valued his privacy. He listened when she talked about her studies. He asked good questions that showed he was really paying attention. He never tried to control her or tell her what to do. He treated her like an equal. They still had problems. Many problems. Cultural differences created misunderstandings daily. Lyria could not understand why Marcus needed alone time. In Valkyrie culture, families were always together. Being alone meant being lonely. Marcus could not understand why Lyria consulted her family before making any decision. In human culture, adults were independent. Making your own choices was important, but they talked about the problems. They tried to find compromises. Slowly they were creating something new, something that was neither fully human nor fully Valkyrie. Something hybrid. On the evening of the 21st day, Marcus called a family meeting. Everyone gathered in the cargo hold, which had become the common living space. Marcus stood with Lyria beside him. He held her hand. The glowing marks on their palms pulsed steadily now. They had synchronized completely. Marcus announced, "I have been thinking about this bonding, about what it means. And I think we are doing it wrong." Theron raised one eyebrow. He looked amused. "You think the entire Velkari tradition is wrong?" Theron asked. "That is bold." "Not wrong exactly," Marcus said quickly. "Just incomplete. At least for us. Lyria and I are from different species, different cultures, different worlds. We cannot just follow Valkyrie tradition or human tradition. We need to create our own tradition, our own kind of bonding." Saria leaned forward. She looked interested now. "What kind of bonding do you propose?" she asked. Marcus took a deep breath. He and Lyria had discussed this for hours the night before. They had argued and compromised and finally agreed. "We want to be partners," Marcus said. "Not mate and provider. Not protector and protected. Partners, we will share all decisions equally. We will support each other's goals. We will travel together and explore together and learn together. We'll keep both our cultures, but we will not let either culture control us." "You want to reject tradition entirely?" Kelvin said. He sounded scandalized. "That is disrespectful to our ancestors." "No," Lyria said. She spoke up for the first time. Her voice was strong and clear. "We want to honor tradition by evolving it. Traditions exist to help people live good lives. God. But if a tradition stops working, it should change." People are dying out because we follow rigid traditions. We do not adapt, do not grow. Humans show us a different way. They constantly reinvent themselves. Maybe we need to learn from them. One of the mothers named Desta spoke up. She was the youngest of the mothers. She had been quiet most of the time, watching everything carefully. "I have been observing you too," Desta said. "You argue frequently. By our standards, you seem incompatible. But then you resolve your arguments through discussion. You compromise. You both give up something to gain something. That is not our way. In Valkyrie bondings, one partner dominates, usually the male. The female adapts to his preferences. But you both adapt to each other. Exactly, Marcus said. That is what we want. Mutual adaptation. Both of us changing. Both of us growing. Is that really so wrong? The family members looked at each other. They spoke quietly in their own language. The musical sounds rose and fell. Marcus could not understand the words, but he could feel the emotion. Some family members sounded angry. Others sounded curious. A few sounded hopeful. Finally, Theron spoke. What you propose is unprecedented, Theron said. But perhaps unprecedented is what we need. I will support this hybrid bonding on one condition. You must document everything. You must record how your relationship develops. You must share your experiences with our people. If your way works, it could help save our species. If it fails, we will learn from that too. Marcus looked at Lyria. She looked back at him. They both smiled. We accept that condition, Marcus said. Good, Syria said. She stood up and walked over to them. She placed one hand on Lyria's head and one hand on Marcus's head. It was a traditional Valkyrie blessing gesture. Then as birth mother, I officially recognize this hybrid bonding. May it bring wisdom to both your peoples. The other family members came forward one by one. Each gave their blessing. Even Kelvin, who had been skeptical, seemed moved by the ceremony. When Nex's turn came, he hesitated. I still believe Lyria could have a more comfortable life with me, Nex said honestly. But I see that she is happy with you. That matters more than comfort. You have my blessing, Marcus Chen. Treat her well, or you will answer to me. I will, Marcus promised. After the ceremony, the family began preparing to leave. They had observed enough. They had seen that Marcus and Lyria could function together. Now they would return to their homeworld and report what they had learned. As they packed, Lyria helped them. She moved between human spaces and Valkyrie spaces easily now. She belonged to both worlds. Or maybe she belonged to a new world that existed between the two. Syria pulled Marcus aside while Lyria was busy. Take care of my daughter, Syria said quietly. She is precious to me. She is also precious to our people. She represents our future. A future where we can change and adapt instead of slowly dying out. That is a lot of pressure, Marcus said with a weak smile. You are human, Syria said. You handle pressure well. That is what humans do. They face impossible situations and find ways to survive. Teach my daughter that skill. Teach all of us if you can. Marcus nodded. He understood now. This was bigger than just him and Lyria. Their relationship was an experiment. A test to see if Valkyrie culture could evolve. That evening, after Lyria's family had departed, the ship felt strange. It was quiet. Empty. For 3 weeks, it had been full of voices and activity. Now, it was just Marcus and Lyria again. They stood in the cockpit looking out at the stars. Lyria leaned against Marcus. He put his arm around her shoulders. It felt natural now, comfortable. Are you scared? Lyria asked. About what we have agreed to do? Terrified, Marcus admitted. We are trying to blend two completely different cultures. We have no idea if it will work. We are making it up as we go. Lyria laughed softly. That sounds very human, she said. Making it up as you go. It is, Marcus agreed. Humans are good at improvising. We do not always have plans. We just adapt and see what happens. Then we will adapt together, Lyria said. She turned to face him. Her silver eyes reflected the starlight. We will figure this out one day at a time. Marcus kissed her forehead. It was a human gesture of affection. Lyria had learned to appreciate it even though it was not part of Valkyrie culture. She had started doing human things. And Marcus had started doing Valkyrie things. Like the meditation exercises she taught him. Like the cooking methods from her world. They were borrowing from each other constantly. I have one request, Marcus said. What is it? Lyria asked. Can we get rid of some of these glowing plants? Marcus asked. The cabin is starting to look like a jungle. Lyria laughed. It was a beautiful sound. Musical like her language, but with something uniquely her own. We can compromise, Lyria said. We keep half the plants. I need them for my research, but you can remove the ones you dislike most. Deal, Marcus said. That night, Marcus prepared for bed. He put on pajamas. Full coverage pajamas. Shirt and pants. Lyria watched him get dressed with an amused smile. You know the bonding is already complete, Lyria said. You do not need to wear clothes to bed anymore. I know, Marcus said, but I like wearing pajamas. It feels normal, comfortable. It is very human, Lyria observed. You want comfort even when it is unnecessary. Is that bad? Marcus asked. No, Lyria said. She started getting ready for bed too. She wore a simple sleeping gown from her world. It is just different. I am learning that different is not bad. Different is just different. They climbed into bed together. The glowing plants cast soft light around the cabin. The ship's engines hummed quietly. Everything was peaceful. Marcus thought about how much his life had changed. 1 month ago, he had been a lonely cargo hauler. He had no family, few friends, just his ship and his work. Now he had a bonded mate. He had a relationship with an alien family. He had a purpose beyond just surviving. He was part of something bigger. It was terrifying. It was overwhelming, but it was also wonderful, Marcus, Lyria said quietly in the darkness. Yes, Marcus replied. Thank you for choosing me, Lyria said. I know you did not mean to at first, but you chose me anyway. That means everything. Thank you for choosing me too, Marcus said. You could have gone with X. You could have had an easy life, but you chose the complicated human instead. Complicated is interesting, Lyria said. She snuggled closer to him. Easy is boring. I do not want boring. I want adventure. I want discovery. I want to learn and grow and change. That is what humans do. That is what I want to do too. Marcus smiled in the darkness. He wrapped his arms around her. She was cool to the touch. Her blue skin always felt slightly cold compared to human skin. But he had gotten used to it. It was just another difference. Just another thing that made them unique. We are going to document everything, Marcus said. Every fight. Every compromise. Every success and failure. Are you ready for that? I am ready, Lyria said. We will show our peoples what is possible. We will show them that change does not have to be frightening. That different cultures can come together and create something new. Something beautiful. No pressure, Marcus joked. Lyria laughed again. Then she was quiet for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was soft and serious. I love you, Marcus Chen, Lyria said. I know humans say these words. I have been learning what they mean. They mean I choose you. Today and tomorrow and every day after. They mean I want to build a life with you. Is that correct? Marcus felt warmth spread through his chest. It was the first time she had said those words. The first time either of them had said them. That is correct, Marcus said. His voice was thick with emotion. And I love you too, Lyria. I choose you. Every day. No matter how hard it gets. They fell asleep holding each other. Human and Velkari. 2 different species. 2 different worlds. But one shared future. Outside the ship, the stars shone bright and endless. The galaxy was vast and full of possibilities. Somewhere out there, other humans and other Velkari would hear about. Marcus and Lyria, they would hear about a cargo hauler who slept naked on a hot night. They would hear about a xenoanthropology student who claimed him through ancient ritual. They would hear about how 2 people from different worlds created their own path forward. Some would say it was impossible. Some would say it was wrong. But others would see hope. They would see that change was possible. That traditions could evolve. That different did not mean incompatible. Marcus and Lyria had no idea if their experiment would work. They had no guarantees. No promises. Just each other and the willingness to try. But sometimes that was enough. Sometimes choosing each other was enough to change everything. The end.